Hey guys, welcome back to Spotlight Arena. A few weeks ago, Soul Receiver received a pretty substantial nerf in a bid to remove marksmen from the jungle. Unfortunately, what we actually saw was most basic attack-based junglers being removed from viability. This gave rise to a meta dominated by tanks and bruisers, much to the chagrin of assassin and marksman lovers everywhere. In response, the developers released another patch a fortnight later, buffing a few of these basic attack-reliant junglers. Xanis, Fennec, and Nacroth all received changes to their numbers, but did that have any impact on the game? We spoke to a number of pros in the European scene to get their thoughts. Royal Blue's Bobby Cart said he thought that the Xanis buff might sneak him into a few off-meta comps for countering tanks. If he had his way, he'd have changed the old Soul Reaver passive to give a reduced effect on marksmen rather than removing it outright, but until then, he expects the tank meta will remain. His personal wish for a future patch is that we get 4 bans like the Asian version of the game. Vitality's Azure weighed in with some positive words around Fennec. He thinks that the changes overall won't affect the meta all that much, but at least they make Fennec a little bit better. For teams like the YouTubers who have used him a couple of times, it might give them a slight advantage. Finally, we asked Redemption for his thoughts. He believes the buffs won't be enough to counter the Soul Reaver changes, and believes marksmen need some help to be viable outside of the jungle. In a world where Violet and Joker run rampant, we can see where he's coming from. Of course, all 3 players are primarily speaking from a competitive standpoint. Lindis is also worth keeping an eye on, as the buff to piercing gaze can have a huge impact as the game progresses. For all we know, the next patch might see a further change to Soul Reaver, in which case everything flips back to the way it was, but for now it's all about the tanks and bruisers in this meta. If you found something that you think works well in ranked play, we'd love to hear about it. Drop a message in the comments below and we'll be sure to mention some of your thoughts in our next patch analysis. But for now, that's the end of this week's Spotlight Arena. As always, we'll be back next week with some more analysis into the world of Arena of Valor. Subscribe to this channel for all future updates, and we'll catch you in a future video. See you then.